All right. The Constitution of Zaire. The Constitution of Zaire, or in French, the Constitution du Zaire, was promulgated on the 15th of August 1974, revised on the 15th of February 1978, and amended on the 5th of July 1990. It provided a renewed legal basis of the regime of Mobutu Sese Seko, who had emerged as the country's dictator after the Congo crisis in 1965. Now, defining state power. Defining state power as an extension of Mobutu's power, the 1974 Constitution confided Zaire as a one-party state, with the Popular Movement of the Revolution, or the Mouvement des Populaires de la Révolution, or the MPR, as the only legal permitted party in Zaire. It enshrined the status of Mobutuism as the state ideology, and the 1974 Constitution was the third in the Congo's post-independence history, replacing the earlier constitutions adopted to replace the original Basic Law of 1960, or Belgian Colonial Code, the adoption of the 1964 Constitution before the fall of the First Congolese Republic, and the 1967 one, which would in turn lead to the 1974 one. So, yeah. Now, according to academics like Mervyn Crawford Young and Thomas Turner, the 1974 Constitution should be seen as the culmination of a period of Zairean political beginning in 1970. The phase was marked by growing national self-confidence and the emergence of Mobutu's authentique policy to remove non-authentic foreign names and influences from Zairean society. Young and Turner described the 1974 Constitution as the normative embodiment of the Mobutuist state at its apogee or at its height, and agreed that it was an unprecedented legal expansion of centralized, untamed personal power for Mobutu, or untrammeled. Interesting word. Now, the actual constitution itself, some basic laws and what's going on in this constitution. So, under the provisions of the constitution, the MPR was recognized as Zaire's only institution. The MPR's president was the ex officio president of Zaire itself, vested with the plenitude of power exercise, so can do whatever he wants. Over government and judiciary, Articles 28 and 30 stamped into law. Mobutuism was declared the state ideology in Article 46, and all Zairean citizens were automatically made members of the MPR at birth, Article 8. So yes, get your green cards, kids. You're now a member of the MPR, whether you like it or not. I don't even think you can spell P. Is there a P in the French alphabet? Mobutu himself was exempted from the restrictions on power mentioned in the document and had the right to unilaterally amend the document at will, even if he was drunk. The state of Zaire's legal system was established by the Constitution and was led by Marcel Lihau, a jurist and former president of the Supreme Court of Justice who had fled the country during the Congo crisis. And to remark that Mobutu is the constitution in Zaire. Now, even though Mobutu had all these powers, there was one particular incident, well, two particular incidents. So, in particular, after the Shaba 1 and the Shaba 2 invasions of 1977 to 1978, to kind of gloss over this quickly, there were some communist rebels in the Katanga province, with the help of French, Moroccan, Nigerian, and other intercom African countries to preserve the borders of Zaire, because in an autocratic state, the army is not to defend the country from external threats, but internal opposition. So remember that. So the army was pretty weak and had to kind of ask France for help, and Belgium a little bit. But because of the Shaba 1 and the Shaba 2 invasions almost wrecking Mobutu, Mobutu was forced to liberalize Zaire's political structure to allow contested elections and a degree of political dissidence. As long as it wasn't too harsh, gotta make Mobutu look good, Now, gonna look at the end. So the 1974 Constitution, even though being amended in 1978 and pretty much being dissolved in 1990, remained in force with some subsequent modifications until the collapse of Mobutu's regime during the First Congo War in 1990s or the early 1990s. In 1994, after being fully ousted from power, the first of two transitional councils and constituents and constitutions were adopted. The current constitution. Yeah, we're talking about constitutions, not Congress. But pretty much the last line. So, the current constitution of the Democratic Republic of Congo, or Congo Kinshasa, was adopted in 2006 after the Second Congo War. But with that being said, that's pretty much the constitution of Zaire. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you feel. With that being said, there's also enshrined in law that you must like and subscribe. Article 54, actually. So if you don't do that, you'll be thrown in Zairean jail. So remember that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed and hope you learned something. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's true constitution. Look it up. Article 54. Yeah.